Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Mark with Waist Deep Wade Fishing, Southwest Florida. How's everyone doing out there? I'm hoping everyone is happy, healthy, safe, and taking care of themselves through this crisis that we're going on in America today. I figured I'd go ahead and put another video out there that would bring some laughter, bring some interest for your home viewing pleasure. This one's going to be Fishing Stories number 3, things you would not believe that happened to me. But before we do that, of course, I want to thank everyone that has liked and shared and hit the subscribe button to my channel. I'm looking forward to meeting all you guys and possibly going out there and have a little fishing session. So if you do like my content and you do think it does have some value, by all means, please, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. If you have any ideas for me that can make the show even better, or anything I can add to the show, just put it in the comments. I'd love to get your feedback. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into it. Fishing Stories number 3, things you wouldn't believe that happened to me. First one is gonna be a freshwater story, which basically started, or happened, I should say, in my backyard. So I was freshwater fishing in my lake, in our development here, about, I don't know, had to be 10, 12 years ago, long time ago. And I was throwing a topwater plug for largemouth bass early in the morning. And I've seen them hitting bait before, but this was one of the first or second times that I actually threw baits in this pond. So I wasn't familiar with it, but I know it had big fish because I've seen them. So I get out there, I'm brand new to Florida. I don't know nothing about the Florida strain of largemouth bass and how big they can be. Boom, the first one, I catch a 3-pounder. Wow. A couple casts later, I get one about like 6.5, 7 pounds. I'm like, oh my goodness. I throw again, 10 minutes later, I get one like 8, 9 pounds. I hit my PB bass, the first week I moved to Florida. So, nevertheless, I was ecstatic. So I'm sitting there hooting and hollering and woo, yeah. And then I start walking around the lake, and I noticed there was a couple of blue herons flying around. So I was like, well, what the hell is that? I never saw one of those before. It looked like a pterodactyl. So it's flying around just doing its thing, and I go to cast my plug. I launch a bomb cast through the air, and wouldn't you know it, in mid-air, mid-flight, I hit this blue heron with a plug right in the side of its body. Literally, this thing is flying across like this. Here comes the plug. Bomb! I hook it in mid-air. So now I'm sitting there like this, fighting this freaking blue heron, and I'm trying to get him down to the water. I don't have a knife in my pocket. I can't bust the line. I'm using Power Pro at that time. So I couldn't snap the line, so I had no choice. I had to bring this bird into the water, and reel him in so I could take the hooks out of him and let him go. Well, I get him down into the water, and I'm starting to reel him in, and he's flailing around and going crazy. And I'm talking to the bird. I'm like, come on, calm down. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm gonna help you. And wouldn't you know it, out of nowhere, and it's the first time I saw a Florida gator. This gator comes out of the reeds. And he had to be between 3 and 6 foot, something like that. Was the biggest one I ever saw in real life. And I'm reeling this bird, and I'm like, oh my God. And I see this gator coming. I said, oh my God, what do I do? So I just kept on reeling, and I couldn't get the bird in time. And he's flailing around, and all of a sudden, this gator just comes up, and wow. One shot, grabs this blue herring, gone. Snaps the line, blue herring goes in the water. All that's left is feathers. I'm sitting there in awe, just, what did I just witness? The bird never came back up, the gator never came back up, and all that was left was a broken line and feathers on the top of the water. So that's the first story. That one I'll never forget for as long as I live. That was just something that you don't really see that often, nor do you hook a bird in mid-flight. So the next one, and this one you are not going to believe, but it's true. It happened to me. I'm fishing on the Mount Lachey Bridge, and this is over 10 years ago. And I'm casting a 1-ounce jig to the bumper lights, that are on the sides of the bridge, basically where the channel is. And at night, those lights point down, the snook come around, hit the bait, blah, 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 blah. You know the rest. So this particular bridge is very narrow. It's a 2-lane bridge. And there's really not much room behind you. So, you got to make sure that there's no one behind you when you go to cast so you don't hook somebody. Or something in this case. Well, I'm standing on this bridge, and we had caught a couple of small snook, and, we're all in good moods and doing our thing, had a couple of beers and laughing and giggling, and I don't pay attention. So I go to cast, and a van comes by right as I draw back. The lure, I don't know if you remember those old vans that used to have the ladder on the back of them. The lure, I go like this, somehow hooks this ladder, and gets pulled out of my hands and just starts going down the road. The guy in the truck, because it was nighttime and I guess he couldn't hear it, he kept going. I just stood there in shock and watched my rod get flung out of my hand and get just drugged down Pine Island Road until he'd made the turn and I couldn't see him no more, and the rod and the reel was gone. I never seen it. I never saw it again. The guy never came back. Nothing. Just gone. Couldn't believe it. The people on the boat the people on the bridge were hysterical. I'm sitting there like, what the hell just happened? My best friend is laughing his butt off. The people across the thing are like, dude, oh my God, he took the rod. No one could believe it. So that one goes down in the history books. So I got another one here that it's man, I don't know. I don't even know. To this day, I don't have words for it. We're fishing in the canals around Fort Myers and Cape Coral. And some of these canals hold big snook in the summer, especially when it's raining and there's moving water. So, we're fishing this particular spillway, and I'm throwing a plastic swim bait that's weighted. So, it goes down fairly deep. We're doing good fishing, the spillway, caught a couple of 20-inch snook. And then all of a sudden, I get a hit. Bang, and I set the hook. And it feels weird. At this point, I've caught hundreds of snook already. So, I know what they feel like. And I know what a jack feels like. I know what a redfish feels like. But I don't know what this feels like. This is just acting really, really weird. So, I call my friend, I say to my friend, he's on the other side. I'm like, yo, I got one. So I go to reel it in, and could you believe what I see? Could you believe what I'm about to tell you right now? I hook a 3-foot-long iguana. I'll say that again. I hook a 3-foot-long iguana. He is in the water, hooked to my line, and I am fighting an iguana in a spillway. I don't have words. I don't even know what to say. I can't believe it. My best friend can't believe it. Okay, he's like, reel that thing in. So we get it in, and my friend, he grew up in the South. He grabbed that thing on the back of its neck, held it down. We pulled the hook out of it. We looked at it. There was no damage done to it. Looked at it at that time. We didn't have a camera. I didn't have a camera phone. This was years ago, so I didn't get a chance to take a picture of it. But I wish I could have. But anyway, that story is just burned in the brain. I wish I could show you the pictures of it to prove it to you right now. But yeah. I hooked an iguana on a swim bait in a spillway trying to fish for snook. So, some things you just can't make up, man. You can't. And the last one, this one was interesting. This happened about 2 years ago. This one takes place in a tarpon spot just before you get into the Ding Darling Wildlife Refuge in Sanibel, on Sanibel Island. So I'm on my buddy's boat, and we get out to the cut And we're throwing artificials at small tarpon, 5 to 10 pounders. I catch a few, he catches a few. And I see this big boil, a tail just woof, made a boil right near this set of mangroves, and it had a couple of big trees right behind it, big mangrove roots connected to trees, or like a mangrove forest with big limbs, okay? And I seen this wake, and I said, oh shoot, let me throw over there. So, I tell my friend, move out of the way. I throw my lure, I skip it over to the mangroves. I twitch it, 1, 2, boom, tarpon. This was probably like a 3-foot tarpon, it wasn't that big. But I'm not lying to you. It came out of the air, it literally jumped, it hit the bait and came straight up out of the air 8 feet. Got into this tree, wrapped himself around the branch while hooked to my line, and now he is dangling 4 feet above the water in the trees, connected to me in the boat. And he's just flailing around like this, and I'm standing there like, what in the world just happened? So as I'm sitting there, saying to my buddy, I'm like, well, we can't leave this thing there. We got to get him out. We got to get him off the tree. So I maneuver the boat over to it, and I'm battling with him. He is just not cooperating with me. He's getting himself more and more tangled up. Takes me literally like 15 minutes to get this poor fish out of the trees. I'm getting caught up, bit up by bugs. My buddy's trying to keep the boat, in the right position. There was oyster bars. I didn't want to fall off the boat in it because I didn't have, I had flip-flops on. If I would have went in the water, I would have cut my feet up. So it was a bad situation. But nevertheless, I ended up getting the tarpon out of the tree, get him in my hands, get him to the water, and pull him on the side of the boat. I start getting, water going through its gills, getting it going, and calming it down, and then eventually with a clean release, and the fish took off like nothing ever happened. So that's going to be it with the unbelievable stories. I hope you enjoyed all of my content today. If you like what you heard, please hit the subscribe button on the bottom. Tell a friend, share my page. You can hit me up on Facebook. You can hit me up on Instagram. I'll put all the links in the description. Till the next time, again, this is Mark with Waist Deep Wade Fishing, Southwest Florida. And you know what you got to go do, right? Go get yourself a yellowmouth. Till the next video.